Welcome to the show where you don't have to do any pre-ordering here, and our DLC is free. I am your I am your host, Nick, and with me I have Dimitri.
Yes, and always remember, kids, in space, no one can eat ice cream.
Greg.
Why not Zoidberg?
And Mike.
Or as I'm known in Rocket League, the new Messi.
And today, guys, we are going to be talking about pre-ordering games. The pre-order dilemma that we are dealing with these days.
I wish we had some dramatic music to play after that.
I know.
Bum.
There we go. The makeshift noises will work for us as usual. But yes, folks, what is the deal with the pre-order? What is the deal with pre-orders? Right?
Oh, no.
Well, this all started with a flurry of articles. The most notable one is maybe Kotaku saying that there really needs to be a stop on pre-ordering games. And we're going to, talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about the pros and cons. And then to end the show on a little bit of a lighter note, we'll talk about the first game that we've pre-ordered and probably the last game we've pre-ordered. So, all right, folks. So, has anybody checked out this article on Kotaku?
Yeah, I mean, I've been having those same feelings for years now. I mean, I think amongst all of us here, I'm probably the one who's pre-ordered the least amount of games ever. So, I mean, obviously it has its merits, but Mike, you were going to say something?
I just think the article raises a lot of good points. It seems we do get one of these every year, but it's a great article, and if you haven't read it, you should check it out.
And I think the reason that it popped up is because of the recent issue with Arkham Knight PC, how it was pretty much broken on release, and it got taken down. Despite all the would you agree with me if I said maybe more positive reception that the game's gotten from at least console owners, right?
It's definitely been popular on the PS4 and other consoles, but there's gotten a huge negative press for the PC side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time. You see something like happens, and then probably, I guess, one of the bad things about just PC gamers in general is they'll flood to like Steam or Metacritic or something and just immediately like downvote the game. So the game ends up suffering because of it. Like when this is kind of unrelated but related in a way. When Steam did their paid mods for Skyrim, the game went from like a high 90% of positive reviews to like in the like 78 or something like that in a few hours because people were so upset. And the same thing happened with Arkham Knight. So in a way, it's like not fair sometimes that happens. And same thing like on websites like Metacritic, it just gets downvoted and it gets bad reviews.
And it's not even a fair review. Sorry to interrupt you, but like it's ridiculous. They'll put 1s and 2s. I was like, are you even factoring in that you've played the game? Or okay, maybe you haven't played the game, but I don't think it warrants you to give that kind of review. I mean,
well, people just like to join an angry mob. They're like, yeah, that's right, fuck them. They shouldn't be getting away with this stuff. Let me give this game a 1 and a 2, even though it doesn't really deserve it, or it's like a few minor glitches. And I mean, I don't know the extent of Arkham Knight was. I don't own the game, so.
I was planning on getting it on PC, but that was much later down the road. But it doesn't look like I'll be having it anytime soon. Well, who am I kidding? If it were to come out tomorrow, I still wouldn't have it because of my fucking backlog. But that's besides the point, folks. So, I think it's appropriate to maybe kind of dive into some of the pros and cons on pre-ordering games. Now,
are we gonna talk about? You want to talk about the pros of pre-ordering games like in 2015, or the pros of pre-ordering games in like 2001? Because I think it's vastly different as far as the pros back then and the pros now.
You make a very solid point. I guess overall, I think it'd be fair to do that. If you do it today, I think the cons outweigh the pros, right? So I think it'd be able to give it a fair shot. Like, here's a good example. let's say 15 years ago, when games actually used to sell out, there wasn't any digital distribution. Like, it was a great way of like, the pro to reserving a pre-ordered game is you're guaranteed a copy, because I mean.
Wait, hold up. So that's why I asked: is it the Pro from 2001 or the Pro from 2015? Because
the Pro from 2001 then.
The Pro from, like, and I'm just giving a random year here, but the Pro from back then was that games really did sell out, and they only had a limited number of physical copies that they would get in, and like you said, there wasn't any digital anything, so.
Yeah, back then there was no way to patch a game, so if you released a broken product, like Superman on the N64, for example, that game just sucked forever. There's no way to fix it as you go along.
Yeah.
It's still a pro today with amiibos, and those bastard things constantly selling out. It's the only way you're going to get your hands on the good ones.
Yeah, however that 8-bit Mario amiibo gets released, I am, like, pre-ordering, day one-ing that thing like none.
I will shank somebody for that thing if I can't pre-order it.
You got to be
did
on
not
there
hear that
quick,
here.
though. They sell out like concert tickets, like 8 minutes and they're gone.
Jeez.
If that. Like, kind of reminds me, quick story, guys. I was sitting on the Splatoon amiibos, and I saw it on my phone, and I was like, it was ready to purchase, because you were only able to buy it from Amazon at the time. I said, nah, you know what, I'm gonna hold off, because it was a little bit pricey. It was like $30. Granted, it was a 3-pack. It was about 30-something bucks, and I was just like, I was getting cheap for a minute, and I was just like, we'll see. Let me think about it for 5 minutes. I get back to it. It's gone. I was like, why? Why did I sit on that?
Well, that's just Nintendo being Nintendo.
Yeah. Well, let's not get into that. That's a whole nother story. But all right. To get back onto the topic, another pro is getting your hands on particular collector items and limited edition releases. A good example for me, I pre-ordered Skyward Sword, the collector's edition. That is nowhere to be found now, unless you want to scour eBay for triple the price, and that's sealed, by the way. So.
Oh wow, a little brag over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only legitimate brag I have.
It's all good.
Anybody of you guys have something along those lines?
Pip-Boy edition.
Oh no, that doesn't count. It comes out later. I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, I have the Metal Gear Solid 3's. Oh man, those titles never make any sense. Like Subsistence or Substance
Yes.
or something. The one that was like a GameStop exclusive that you could only get from there. So that's always like an exclusive pre-order through there that comes with like the game and like another DVD and something else too. I don't even know what's in it, but that was like another one that was like a little bit. It's not that rare, but it's like a little bit because it was only available through GameStop.
Yeah. So, if you want to talk about that on the same token, that's all I have for really pros. So if you guys have any more pros as far as the pros of pre-ordering games.
The list ended at 2.
It really did.
I think there is another pro, which is something that maybe none of us might consider. I thought of this earlier, is we all live in fairly developed areas that are really well built up, a lot of stores. Like, I know, at least for me, there's 2 Best Buys, 2 Targets, 2 GameStops within 10 minutes of me. But people, not everyone in the country is like that. Some people only have 1 Walmart in their town, and a game, even a popular game, might actually sell out there. So pre-ordering is a benefit depending on where you live in the country.
And that's going for today, which that's actually a very good point you brought that up, because if I was roughing it in, well, not really roughing it, but in the Midwest, and like you said, I only had 1 Walmart. It sounds ridiculous where we live to pre-order games, because we have it at all angles, wherever we want to go to get it. But yeah, you made a good point. For smaller towns, may not be so easy.
I think I have another pre-order plus, I guess. It's kind of like an intangible thing, really, where if you do pre-order something and you have to actually go to the store and pick it up, I think it gives you more of a sense of community almost, that you're a part of something. You go there, you meet a few other people, it gives you a chance to talk about the thing for a little bit. So I think it's it's a little bit more fun than just downloading the thing or like picking it up days later, just walking and grabbing it. I think it gives you a little more sense that you're a part of something, like a cheesy kind of way. So
wow, look at you. The cheese factor is strong in you.
Doing those midnight releases.
Yeah.
You're a midnight release guy.
Oh god, those are terrible.
Perfect point. The last midnight release I went to was Pokemon XY. And there was people all right, in South Florida, I'm in West Fort Lauderdale, if anybody wants to look at that on the map. There's people coming from 45 minutes to an hour north to that particular store, that GameStop that was 5 minutes away from my house, because it was the only store doing a midnight release. So pretty big stuff. I mean, people were stoked for it.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of a pro. I mean, we all know most of the bonuses are kind of hokey, kind of crap. Oh, here's a little skin for your character. Here's an extra little gun. But every now and then there's actually a decent bonus, like NBA 2K16. If you pre-order it, you get it 4 days early, plus in-game currency, which is crazy because they like to force you to almost have to use it in those games. So that's big. Mm-hmm. What do you call it? Microsoft Store is giving a $10 gift card for pre-ordering Rare Replay, which is pretty solid because the game's only $30 to begin with.
Yeah.
So not a bad deal. And then this day and age, there's not what we used to have back in the day, all the demos for every game coming out. There's hardly any demos for any game that you actually want to see. Mm-hmm. So the only way to really see a game beforehand is to get involved in the beta at some level. But what publishers are doing nowadays is limiting betas, at least initially, to people that pre-order the game.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty big bonus to have, because if you do like I do and pre-order from Amazon, you're not paying a dime. And if you don't like the beta, you can say, boom, that's canceled. No harm, no foul.
A loophole.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I just discovered that today. If you pre-order from Amazon, you're not throwing down $5, $10, or the full price of the game.
Where have you been for the last decade?
I don't pre-order games that often.
They're just taking you on your word.
Pretty much.
But like you were saying, that is a good point though, because even Steam Early Access is a form of pre-ordering, because you're paying for an unfinished game that you get once it's released. So that's a way of kind of playing the game, beta testing it in a way. Granted, you're usually paying full price sometimes for a broken game, but it's still, if you're hyped about something, it's still a good way to play something and see if you'll like it later down the road.
In a way, it almost seems like that may have been the precursor to Kickstarter.
Yeah,
early access games.
Yeah.
I was about to say, even backing on Kickstarter is a form of pre-order. I mean, the higher backing you do, you get those. That's like getting your exclusive content, and that's a game that might not even get made.
Yeah.
Which I think at least with that you can get most of your money back, or does it just depend on whoever's running it?
Yeah, it depends on who's running it.
Okay.
Well, all you guys had a lot more points than I did as far as it goes with the pros of pre-ordering. Now, let's go into some of the cons. So, one of the biggest ones really is a game, getting a game BOA, broken on arrival. How frustrating can that be?
I think it's even that, and having to download a 2 gig day one patch just to get the game running, which is kind of bullshit too. But that kind of falls under a different category, but it still relates to that. You're still day oneing the game, and then you put it in, and you have to wait another hour to download something depending on your internet connection. So
well, the day one patches make a little bit of sense because it could be some bug they found after the game had already shipped. So there's no real way for them to bring the games back and put that data on the disk. So the only option they have is to do the patch. Although sometimes it is bullshit, I will agree.
More often than not, that's not the case. So, I mean, the main argument that the article was making was that pre-ordering actually hurts consumers because they're releasing games that aren't finished. And I'm going to pick on EA especially because they're probably the most egregious, culprits in this case. The last Battlefield, it came out, it didn't work for months. And same thing with SimCity. That was a disaster at launch. And they're saying, when you pre-order a game because you want to get, so say when Battlefront comes out, you want to get, the exclusive Princess Leia slave outfit. it, just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's luring you into pre-order it, but with their track record, what's the incentive for them to actually release a game that's going to work day one? They're not just going to have to patch for the next 6 months.
Well, yeah, that's the whole problem. If people pay the money up front, you know, what do they care anymore at that point? They kind of already have your money, so if you have to deal with a day one patch, it's like you're not getting your money back in most cases, and or you're either not getting your money back, or a lot of people just aren't going to go through the trouble to ask for a refund. You know, like it's just not going to happen. So they don't really care.
You've already sold 60 million copies of the game and it's not even out yet, so you're just going to hit that marketing date, even though if that marketing date isn't realistic to what the developers can achieve in that time. So there's no delaying it, you know, which might frustrate gamers, but I'd rather they wait like Legend of Zelda and release me a great game on day one than get a broken game that I can't play.
Agreed.
That's why everybody should just pre-order from Amazon, because then they just see potential sales, but there's not a dime in their pockets.
But by
This
the time
guy-
it ships, it's still like people aren't going to know the game's broken until it ships, and by then it's too late for you to get your money back or cancel your pre-order.
By the
Well,
way,
yeah, but they
Greg,
won't.
how
up?
much is Amazon paying you to say all that?
I wish they were paying me to say it. Shit.
That side gig, man.
Giving them an Amazon Prime membership for free for.
Without a doubt. But
But I
I
mean,
would say-
like we touched upon earlier, it made sense in the beginning when it was first a thing because games were physical items and sometimes they sell out. And like a company isn't going to invest in printing like 1 million cartridges of something if they don't know if it's going to sell. So they might print too little, and then before you know it, you can't find the game for like a week. So and everybody's playing it but you. So. Then after that, I think it just kind of morphed into like, well, maybe we should give an incentive for people to pre-order because it's just free money. And then I think it's a spiraled out of control. Like the worst pre-order bonus I've seen, I think, like even as recently was that like Metal Gear Solid 5, like Snake Arm. Oh god! Like who's gonna display that anywhere? It's so ridiculous.
and
It's definitely a lame one, but even worse than that is, you know, Call of Duty's notorious for like, you know, get this gun or get this skin. I mean, who cares? Even Batman. I don't use any of the Batman skins. I just play like that doesn't mean anything to me. So, like those are the real lame ones, I think.
And that goes for me to segueing to the next con in pre-ordering games is the janky pre-order items. I mean, like. You can
Night vision goggles.
You can still that too. You can still get a great game in God of War 3 and have this janky like plastic Pandora's box kind of thing that you end up selling for $30 later, like a few years later. So
Hey, holler.
yeah, I mean it's just, you know, skins is another thing. What about that one time, you know, getting rid of the skin? Like those skins go for so much on eBay. It's like it's just a skin. There's no special ability or benefit from having it. So
Skins is like an insta sell for me if I ever get any of those. Like, yep, immediate eBay fodder.
You know, some of the physical ones at least do retain their value. I mean, not all of them, which is why normally, like the Metal Gear Solid 5 hand, I love Metal Gear, but I wasn't rushing out for that one. But Zelda stuff, like you said earlier, like that Zelda Gold Wiimote, that thing's impossible to find. Like, there are limited games that do hold value and increase value. I think the Pip-Boy one was pretty cool just because it actually worked, and it came in that nice little box, so that was one I got a little excited for. But that's actually probably the first physical, you know, pre-order collector's bonus that I went for. Normally I don't spring for the extra money, and I'm a game collector, so
you're getting too positive for my liking. And maybe, I mean, I'm sure you guys will chime in some more cons, but the last con I have on my list is just flat out paying full price. I mean, wouldn't it be better if you just wait for the game to drop in price or wait for the Game of the Year edition in some cases?
Agreed. That was actually one of my cons. I mean, in this day and age, it seems like maybe 2 months after a game comes out, it price drops. And like the worst, I mean, this benefited me greatly, but the worst offender I've ever seen was when Forza Horizon first dropped. 2 or 3 years ago.
Correct.
It drops October 23rd. On Black Friday, less than a month later, it was 75% off. I picked it up for $15. I mean, if I were one of the people that actually pre-ordered the game, or even one of the people that day one that, I would have been pissed. So I mean, that's $45 extra that they paid for nothing. I mean, it was a great game,
Yeah.
but
Oh man, what? That's a shame. But
I think just like ridiculous, nonsensical pre-order items just top my list. Like when they give you like a Batman statue or something like that, or like the skins that we've been talking about. It's just like nobody uses these except for like the rare like Nintendo like cool thing that you get like with Skyward Sword, where it's either worth a lot or it's fucking cool to have a gold Wiimote.
they're all for one sad fat man in a little cave in his house.
I think just another thing too is I can't remember the last time a game legitimately sold out. I mean, I never pre-order games normally, and I can't think of a time where I walked into a store and couldn't buy a game I wanted day one.
Yeah,
and they always ask me at my GameStop, they're like, "Did you pre-order it?" And I'm like, "Nope," and they still sell it to me anyway. So who cares?
Yeah. Unless it's like a special edition one that they only have a limited number of copies for. Yeah, it never sells out, and it's probably not going to sell out.
Yeah, like Call of Duty is never going to sell out. They have like millions and millions of copies. There's no need to pre-order the next Call of Duty.
Yeah.
very good point, guys. Any more cons that you guys can really think of?
Retailer-specific bonuses, like pre-order bonuses.
That's bad.
Yeah, but I hate that just as much as I hate, games only coming out for one system. If it's a first-party game, that's okay. But like Tomb Raider coming out for just Xbox, give me a fucking break. That's just stupid. And same with the whole Destiny issue with PS4. What's up?
Can you give me an example of the retail-specific pre-orders?
If I would have had my copy of Batman at my side, when I opened up my case for Arkham Knight, I had about 4 different things inside the sleeve for different skins and different missions. And I know if I would have gotten it from GameStop, I would have had a little thing on my receipt. And if I would have gotten it from Best Buy, I would have had something different. If I would have gotten it from Target, it would have been another thing different. It's like, give me all or nothing. I don't want to have my hands tied going to this store. Is what, like Mike's point earlier, what if there's not a Best Buy in my area, but I really want that skin, and now I'm shit out of luck, I can't get it? Not that I want a skin, but just saying.
And just to wrap that particular point up, eventually you could just pick up the regular game, and eventually all those retail specific DLC, like whatever pre-order bonuses that you're getting, you get to buy them eventually. Like,
yeah, either that or give it like 6 months and you'll get the game of the year.
The game of the year.
Yeah. It's all going full circle, guys, full circle.
Yep.
And
just like humans in a bead.
On a lighter note, I think it'd be nice to talk about the first. Let's go around the table and talk about the first game you've pre-ordered. For me, it might have been the first time I realized I needed to start pre-ordering is when I wanted to buy WrestleMania 2000 and for N64. Sold out in 5 different stores. I was like, this has got to be impossible. So I made it a point to reserve a future game, which just escaped my mind, but because I had it noted. But I mean, that's when you started to realize, like, you realize that as you become an avid like game collector or purchaser, it's just you can't believe that it's gone.
especially with a game like that, nothing's worse. You want to have some friends come over and play a wrestling game, and then you can't find it anywhere. You're like, well, this weekend's like practically ruined because I can't find this fucking game for everybody to play.
Yeah, so best believe when that next iteration came out, pre-ordered day one kind of thing. So
by the time WWF No Mercy came around, you already had that figured out.
Oh, it was down. It was broken as fuck, but it was down. What about you, Dimitri? Do you remember the first game that you've pre-ordered?
Yeah, well, being that I don't really pre-order games just because I've never had a problem like going into a store and buying them ever. The first one I ever did was like I came into it like really late, and that's because when the Wii came out, that was sold out. So like I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to get Super Smash Bros. Brawl. So I was like, all right, let me take a step and pre-order this because it took me forever just to get a Wii, so this might be sold out. And for some reason, I ended up pre-ordering it, and like I just walked in and they had many copies. So I was like, yeah, this is why I don't pre-order games ever, because it doesn't matter in the end unless it's a console. But that's like different.
Well, hold up. That's your very first pre-order
Yeah,
game?
very first
Holy fuck. That is unreal. God,
Yeah.
what happened? Yikes. That's
I mean,
crazy.
There's no need to pre-order on PC, bro.
Oh, man, that master race is coming through. What about you, Mike? What was the first game that you remember pre-ordering?
I think the first game I pre-ordered was this bad boy right here, Ocarina of Time, and it's just because I wanted this gold cart so badly back in middle school, and I remember driving out to Toys R Us the day it was supposed to come out, which it didn't actually, at least my Toys R Us didn't get it in that day, so we had to drive out the next day, and where I grew up, Toys R Us wasn't particularly that close, and it was the only place to buy games, but I did eventually get my gold copy, and it was well worth it.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Actually, if
Solid
I had,
first pick.
Yeah, man, you kind of beat me to it because, like, if I really had to think back, that would probably be the first game. I mean, does consoles count, guys? I mean, I think it kind of has a say, but I didn't think it would be appropriate to bring it up totally for this entire conversation.
I don't know. Honestly, even with consoles, me and my brother, we never had a problem. Just like even if we wanted like a PlayStation 2, it's sold out. Like there's not really any games for it anyways. So oh well, we'll get it next week or whatever. The only thing I had a problem with it was the Wii. That was like sold out for many months.
Agreed. And what about you, Greg? Your first game that you remember pre-ordering, as far back as you can remember?
No idea, because I don't think I really started pre-ordering until probably around the time Dimitri did, maybe a little bit sooner. Earliest possible pre-order might have been GTA 3.
Oh, there you go. That's something. Yeah. That's,
I mean, I know I had it. I just don't remember if I pre-ordered it or not.
No, that's definitely noteworthy. And all right, and to switch it up a little bit, the last game, the most recent pre-order that you've made. We'll kick it back to you, Mike. What was the most recent pre-order you've made?
My most recent one was Mighty Number 9, and I pre-ordered that one just because I figured this one might actually have a small release. It might be hard to find in stores, so I went on Amazon, I grabbed the one. I did spend a lot of time debating which console I wanted to get it for. I was bouncing back and forth between the Wii U and the PS4, but I eventually went PS4, so that's the last one I did.
Had to sleep on it, make a list, pros, cons, or which console.
I flipped a two-face coin. That's how I made my decision. That's how I make all my big decisions in life. I flip a coin. That's how I decided to go to college.
It's the responsible thing. It's the responsible thing to do.
Do you have one of the faces like scratched off?
No, but I should.
That would be great. What about you, Dimitri? Well, it's not anything recent.
No, it actually is 2012.
Yeah.
Diablo 3, and the only reason I pre-ordered this was because it was like, I don't know, like a 10 gig file or something like that, 15 gig file. So I was like, all right, let me pre-order it just so I can have it pre-installed. So that when it drops at midnight, I'll just hop on and play my little game and everything will be all right. Well, it took about 3 hours because of the infamous server jam that it was having. And that's probably the last game I'll ever pre-order, unless we find out how you get that 8-bit Mario amiibo, and if it's a pre-order bonus or an exclusive to something, I am hopping on that. But
you guys will know. I'm telling you, I'm gonna blast you guys when it's happening.
Yeah, other than that, I can't see myself pre-ordering a game anytime soon.
And you, Greg, what's the latest game that you've pre-ordered?
The Fallout 4 Pip-Boy edition.
Yeah. No need to brags about that. We know how great that's gonna turn out. Luckily, you get to borrow your wife's phone because your super duper iPhone 6 won't be able to fit in it. Correct?
Well, if it were the regular 6, yeah, but it's the Plus for my massive hands, so no, it doesn't fit.
Yes.
I might just go out and buy an iPod Touch. I'm not sure.
In this one, size does matter.
Hey.
Ching. And the latest games that I've pre-ordered was actually 2 in one day when I went to the Mario event like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they I got suckered into these like stupid little like pins that they're gonna give me. They're gonna give me an 8-set pin. Probably put it in a frame or something. And you had to pre-order. Yeah, you had to pre-order.
That's how they got you.
That's how they got me. Hey,
And I'm the pin collector.
you can give it as much crap as you can. When that shit is like triple the price on eBay, like rare as fuck. Like
That means
look
it'll be
at me.
$6.
Yeah.
You guys are horrible. But yeah, I had to pre-order Super Mario Maker and Xenoblade Chronicles, which they both don't get released on the same day, so I don't know how I'm picking up these fucking pins. Because one comes out in September and the other one comes out in December. I
It'll
don't
work
know.
out.
Yeah. But on that note, folks, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. If you liked what we had going on here, go ahead and like this video, comment. You can go ahead and subscribe. Be sure to check out gamerslife.guru. Check out the Facebook page for 10 Cent Gaming. Check out the Facebook page for Gamers Life Guru. And go ahead and follow us on Twitter. You have my little handle down below. You have little Dimitri's handle down below. These guys don't do Twitter, but...
Well,
it's
and
not
also one quick display before we leave. If we could all show our supporting shirts here as well.
Man, you guys really know how to rub it in my face. I'm the only jamoke not wearing a Mario shirt. I mean, let
It's
alone a video game shirt.
maybe you can go out and pre-order one.
New York, I will be there soon. Because that's the only way you're getting that kind of stuff. And on that note, folks, take care, and may the Triforce be with you. Woo!
All right.